Hello. All right. We got audio, we got visuals. I'm told we've got a connection coming up after me. All right. So glad to see you all. This is very exciting. So welcome to Ethproofs Day. Raise your hand if you've been to an Ethproofs call. All right, a bunch of people. Okay, so we hope today is going to be a lot like an Ethproofs call. We're going to speed run through a lot of topics. We got 24 things to go through, lectures, panel discussions, so on and so forth. Hope there's going to be a lot of alpha, a lot of announcements, new benchmarks, and a lot of opportunities for Q&A. Hopefully everyone's getting a t-shirt or has gotten a t-shirt or attempted to get a t-shirt. You should also have an opportunity for some lunch, some coffee, because we're going to have to keep you fed. We've got 10 lightning talks, 7 keynotes, 3 spicy panels, 1 demo. If you're ever lost in terms of like what's up next, go to ethproofs.day. It's the first website I ever shipped. I'm very proud of it. We've got 10 teams that are presenting, or representatives from 10 teams, and 7 teams from the EF that are represented today. So who am I? I'm Will Corcoran. I'm a research coordinator at the Ethereum Foundation. And before I started in the fast-paced world of open source, crypto-economically secured distributed protocol research coordination, I was an architect. This is one of the last buildings that I designed, or worked on. I was the project manager. It's a co-located Chicago Public Library branch and Chicago Public Housing. I think it's pretty cool. It's a very, very challenging project to have done. And the reason why I mention it is because based off of the constraints that we had in front of us, the site, the schedule, the budget, the tenants that we were trying to find a home for, the long-term sustainability of the project, the only way it was able to happen was through a public-private partnership, which is very much how I view this race towards real-time proving of Ethereum L1 execution layer blocks. It's a public-private partnership. And the reason why it's so important is because the potential benefits are massive. We've got an opportunity to significantly increase the transaction throughput without sacrificing on decentralization or security. And we're just, in my opinion, like entering phase 0. So this is going to be a long process, and it's going to require a lot of teamwork and a strong sort of sense of purpose to be able to accomplish it, which I really, really feel today, and I've felt very much for the last several months. So this public-private partnership, in my opinion, like the reason why they're so important is because you rely on the dynamism of the private market to be able to do things that large institutions, sort of like a large agency isn't able to do, isn't able to be as nimble. But then you also need the public entity to be able to think out the box, be collaborative, and help usher things along and connect dots to remove blockers for that private institution, or private entities. So in our case, it really begins and ends with all of these amazing ZK VM teams that just keep blowing out new benchmarks and shipping new technology. And we've got 8 of them on Ethproofs right now. There's, I think, 9 or 10 that are going to be on the stage today. But then there's a whole fleet of others that are at different stages of development that we've been tracking, and we're also in conversations with. I think I've got like 45 Telegram channels with different ZK VM teams. The other side of that private dynamism comes from the prover side. So these are the teams that are excelling at DevOps, hardware acceleration, orchestration, and really making all the ZK VMs dance and are submitting these real-time proofs. So these provers come in all shapes and sizes. We're really, really interested in these sort of multi-GPU clusters that are, we call them like not at home, but at garage or at office proving. Could be at home someday. There's also larger entities, prover networks, which we'll hear from a couple on the final panel today. And then all the ZK VM teams are also like have their hands dirty. They're running their own, they're dogfooding their own software and submitting proofs and learning a lot about the whole process through those iterations. So on the public side, and I'll kind of use that term loosely to describe the EF and the research efforts that are going on. First and foremost, you've got the ZK VM team, really just like setting the tone in terms of what is going to be an acceptable framework for real-time proving, and always make sure that we land on or we trend in a direction that's consistent with Ethereum values of decentralization and security, and have everything done in a very like provable way that can be reproduced. You also have the cryptography team. These are the people that are looking at all of the foundational cryptographic primitives, the proof systems, and really sort of making sure that we're building on a foundation of soundness. You also have the protocol snarkification team, which the sort of primary effort that they've been championing is the formal verification effort. So really making sure that everything that gets specified and audited, is what you see is what you get. You also have the robust incentives group. So Julian from RIG is going to be moderating the final panel today. And so as we are looking at prover dynamics and prover business models, I think that we want to make sure that we have a clear sense of the incentive structures, and so that there's no centralizing vector that comes out of the prover activities. And so the new kid on the block is the fifth team that I would add to this. So this is Ethproofs. Just recently announced as a team. Farah's a team lead, been doing an amazing job, and really kind of consider this as this interface between public and private research and industry. And it's also this kind of mimetic wrapper. That's usually where I come in to try to help with strengthening community and making sure that like all of these individual efforts and visions are move forward in a coherent, aligned manner. So quickly about Ethproofs, launched January 28th of last year. The Ethereum.org team did an amazing job with standing up the first minimal viable product and rolled that out. When I came on board, I was really focused on driving community, and we've hosted several community calls, 6 in total. And each one of these calls usually gets about 250 participants. A lot of exciting information comes out of those. Right now on Ethproofs, you can see, if you go to the website, we've got 13 teams, 8 ZK VM teams, 21 clusters, and we've out of those clusters, we've had about 1 million proofs submitted to Ethproofs in less than a year. Since January 1st to today, when you're just looking at a single 4090 proof, we asked provers to submit one block for every one proof for every 100 Ethereum blocks. On that metric, we've seen latency go from 16 minutes to 26 seconds at the highest point for a single GPU submitting that proof. The cost of that has also gone from $1.69 to fractions of a penny. We also have in-browser verification. We've got Telegram bots. We're in the DMs of all the teams, letting them know the stability of us receiving the proofs, so that we can like sort of keep an eye on this top of funnel and track the many, while the researchers really kind of track all of the very detailed use cases. We've introduced some countdowns. Shout out L2Beat. We're really trying to drive everything towards reproducibility, open source. I think that we're making great strides with that. We've been really strengthening the API. We shipped a public product requirement doc and roadmap. If you go to Ethproofs GitHub repo, you can find that in the PM repo. We just did a really great collaboration with client-side proving. You can see that dashboard now on the full V3 refactor that just shipped. Again, welcoming a new team lead in Farah. And if you liked Ethproofs Day, you're going to love BeatsMed. So we've got 3 events coming up in Cannes. I just want to plug real quick. I'll be having the QR codes up later on. We're going to have one that really focuses on Ethproofs and lean execution. We call that Beast Mode. And then we're also doing a similar effort with advancing lean consensus with our PQ interop. Some of those teams are here. We're going to have Fort Mode for that, and a little hacker house running 2 days, which we're calling Villa Lean. So when you get a chance, try to sign up. So we're going to start off. First, we've got this demo that we've been talking about, and then we've got a panel, and then 2 keynotes from key EF researchers. So I think we'll throw it to the shared screen if we can do that now.